I've met numerous practitioners, Reiki practitioners, Theta healing practitioners, practitioners for meditation, for yoga, who desire to have the third eye opened. That sounds nice, but what does the third eye have to offer when opened? And how does it connect to the third eye chakra? Is there a difference between them? Is there a connection between them? And how do they affect one another? So I was thinking that we should remove this confusion. Hi, I'm Vlad from ReikiScoop.com. In today's video, we're going to talk about the differences, if any, between the third eye chakra and the third eye as a spiritual concept for clairvoyance. So before continuing, consider hitting the thumbs up button, subscribe, and even share so that other Reiki enthusiasts can find videos such as this one. Now, with that out of the way, let's move on. Third eye. So many people are interested in opening the third eye for clairvoyance. But what does this mean? Well, theoretically at least, when the third eye begins to open, there's a better and healthier and clearer perception about certain elements, unseen, physically unseen elements of life, such as auras, chakras. You can see different entities. You can see beyond the physical veil of existence. But before getting into the benefits and caveats of that, let's understand what's the difference and if there is any, or how is it connected to the third eye chakra? Well, the third eye chakra is an energy center, one of the 7 primary energy centers, vortexes of energy through which energy enters and gets out, both universal energy and vital energy. The third eye chakra is located in the center of, lower center of the forehead between the eyebrows, and its back projection is on the lower back of the head. And they are like funnels. That's all how the chakras function, especially the primary chakras. They are like funnels, and they meet within the Sushumna energy, the main energy channel. They pierce it, they intersect with it. And as I said, they are funnels. The front projection is like a funnel, the back projection is like a funnel. And this is the first, if we count from the crown down, this is the first chakra that has a back projection. Then there's the throat, there's the heart, solar plexus, and sacral. The crown and the root do not have back projection, as they are kind of projecting themselves. So this energy center is important for when it's cleared and healed, obviously, and cleansed and healed. Wisdom, not only divine wisdom, but earthly wisdom, understanding how the world works, how you function according to how the world works, how you can connect and position yourself, your role, positioning yourself in the correct way according to the world around you, and even changing the world around you, meaning changing resonance, changing vibration. That's the perceiving element of the third eye chakra. There's also thirst for knowledge and intuition and understanding your role in the world, as I said, connected to the idea of wisdom. There's also a bit of connection to the idea of divine wisdom, but that's mostly handled by the crown chakra. So that being said, this energy center is also connected to physical elements, the eyes, the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, the hypothalamus. Because of the back projection, they all are connected through this energy center, this chakra. Also, the crown is responsible with a part of those glands, with the pituitary to be more specific, but also the third eye chakra. So if I cleanse and work with my third eye chakra, maybe with Reiki, I just place my hands, or I meditate, or I do whatever spiritual practice I like, I'm going to have an open third eye for clairvoyance, right? No. Unfortunately, it's not so simple. Having a clean and open third eye chakra does not immediately imply that you will have an opened third eye. However, having the opened third eye for clairvoyance implies having a cleansed and open third eye chakra. You cannot have clairvoyance without a cleansed and open third eye chakra. But that doesn't mean that an opened and cleansed third eye chakra will automatically offer you clairvoyance. That's because, and we return to the concept of the third eye with clairvoyance, that's a spiritual gift. When the third eye actually opens as a spiritual concept, it means that you have what I talked before about observing other people or other entities, auras, their energy structure, seeing beyond the veil of the physical existence. And I did say I'm going to mention benefits and caveats. Well, before that, think about the implications here. This is a spiritual gift. If you want to receive that, you need to kind of work for it. There are people who receive clairvoyance even through birth, and it's like a spiritual gift for them because of previous lives in which they had great dedication to other people, or they were helping the world, or maybe another spiritual dimension, and they were granted this gift upon maybe request from the spirit itself, from your spirit that was asking this. Another way of some people achieving this ability was through accidents, quite brutal sometimes. Even if they're physically whole, and they're okay in the end, the trauma, the strong impact of traumatic impact rendered some of the energy center or some abilities to suddenly open. And this comes quite with a lot of caveats because you don't even understand what's going on. And especially if you're not interested or attracted to the spiritual world, you will begin to see things that you didn't even expect or think about seeing or desiring to see. And that's really quite a challenging situation and pretty hard to deal with. That's when you need to go to someone who knows what they're doing and to help you either balance the situation and filter somehow what you're seeing, or just close it for some time until you're ready to open it again. Before we continue, I want to drop a quick reminder for those of you overwhelmed by scattered information about Reiki symbols. I remember jumping from books to forums, from old PDFs to blog posts, trying to piece together what each symbol meant and how to actually use it in a session. It felt more like chasing answers than deepening my practice. Eventually, I realized I need everything in one clear and practical place. That's how the Ultimate Reiki Symbols Guide came to life. I organized the most common 65 Reiki symbols into a single ready-to-use resource. You have their attributes and uses in one place so you can guide your sessions seamlessly without second-guessing. It's still the guide I return to when I need insights, inspiration, and the optimum Reiki symbol for a certain situation. If you're tired of digging and want to spread more time practicing and less time searching, grab the digital copy on Reiki Scoop or the physical book on Amazon. Now, let's return to the video. The third and most healthy way is to gradually have it open. That's done through exercise, not only Reiki, but it means changing a little bit of your lifestyle. It means fasting. And why do I mention fasting? Because when you fast, not only your physical, but your energetic layers are more cleansed. And I am not a vegan, not a vegetarian, but I'm not a fan of being in extremes. I'm not only a meat eater, or I'm not only a vegetarian, or not only a vegan. I tried all and I like them. But the more you eat meat, I do have to mention, that's a lower vibrational food. But for some people it's good and they resonate with it. And I understand perfectly because I also do eat sometimes meat. So that being said, when you eat too much or you start eating heavier meats, let's say, that's when your energy fields require more dynamics, more energy to dissolve those negative programs from the sacrificed animal. And also digestion requires also a lot of vital energy and requires also a good flow of universal energies for everything to be processed. Therefore, there's no energy left for you to see things or to perceive things. In order to have that, you need to have a different lifestyle. As I said, you need to remove certain food products. You need to eat healthy or even eat less and less not until you get super skinny. That's not the point. The point is to not encumber your physical and energetic bodies with too many elements, because you can be even a vegan and you can still encumber your body. It's about being in balance. Taking care of your body from this perspective, from a sleep perspective as well, Reiki or spiritual practices perspective, food perspective, and also have a healthy perspective about yourself and about the world and your connection to it. Not having judgmental thoughts, criticism, gossips, those things, they cannot exist. So those are probably actually the first things I should have mentioned from the start that need to be transformed, dissolved into pure light. And that should not be a forced thing that comes naturally when you really understand, authentically understand that those elements are not useful, and you should see, not only to see the good parts in everything, but to understand your role, and the fact that you are engaging maybe in judgments or criticism is already something that reflects unhealed elements within yourself. So those things are mandatory for having a third eye. Actually, third eye, not a chakra, the third eye to be open for clairvoyance. Then comes the practices, spiritual practices. Again, as I said, Reiki is one of them. There are many ways to do that. So that's the thing between the third eye chakra and the actual third eye for clairvoyance. Now, they are different, they are connected, but they are different structures. You cannot have, just to recap for short, you cannot have a opened third eye for clairvoyance without having a cleansed third eye chakra, but a cleansed third eye chakra does not automatically imply an opened third eye for clairvoyance. Now, benefits and caveats. Well, try to keep things quite short here. Well, the benefits are pretty obvious for those who are already kind of interested in this subject, that sure, you're going to be able to perceive the energy fields of others, the so-called auras. And even beyond, you're going to perceive the subtle fields, which go, the aura is basically a combination of energetic fields and subtle fields from my perspective. So you're going to see the subtle fields and the energetic fields generated by each of the chakras. You're going to begin to see imbalances, physical or energetic imbalances that require healing in each and every person. You're able to see beyond the physical veil, meaning that you're going to interact with the astral realm of existence. And here comes the problem. You're going to see entities. Sure, you might see some spirit guides and some angels, but the problem is you're going to see also not so pleasant entities. And that's not even the worst part. The worst part is that if those entities realize that you can see them, they can see you back. I mean, look at you and realize, hey, this person can see us. And that's not going to be very nice because, well, you're going to feel like you're being watched all the time and being chased all the time. And you're going to feel like you're being approached or just influenced by something you cannot touch. You can see something, you can understand see the entity, or maybe see it clearly actually, but you can't touch it and you don't know what to do. And that's when you need protection techniques. You need to know how to deal with such events and entities. Not only with Reiki, maybe with other practices as well. So I think that's a pretty nasty caveat to take into account. And that's why be careful what you wish for, because there are people who even engaged in prolonged fasting, such as Mikao Usui when he went to Mount Kurama, which may seem very different, but the concept is the same. He went to fast. He was searching for illumination, for enlightenment. He didn't know how many days he's going to stay. The story goes that he knew 21 days. No, he didn't know how many days he was going to stay. And after 21 days, he received this, well, it's more than just a clairvoyance, isn't it? It's the whole idea of passing on and transmitting and guiding light, divine light. And then came the symbols and other methods and structures. But before that, he had the pure vision of sending light. And the same goes for accessing different gifts. Maybe there's a number of days you can fast. I don't recommend that to anybody. Don't make any mistake. I'm not a doctor, not a physician or any sort. I'm not recommending such, or nutritionist. I'm not recommending such things. I'm just saying that some people engaged in this type of approach with fasting and praying so that they can adopt certain abilities, attributes, spiritual attributes. But be careful what you wish for again, because some attributes may come with caveats that you didn't expect. Not because you are in debt to anybody, no, because you worked for those and it's maybe your right to receive them, but they come with a cost because we are tributary and kind of limited to the physical realm to some extent. We can go beyond it, as I explained. There's the ability of clairvoyance, and there's the clear audience, and there's many other abilities. However, they might come sometimes with hearing too much or seeing too much that you might not want to see. And there was a story from one of my teachers that the person desired that, they gained that, and they could not leave the house because of what they saw, generally speaking, outside. Obviously, that was blocked at one point with the help of one of my teachers so that the person would not see again. And that's one of the problems, because you go a bit not seeing everything that was not supposed to be seen, because you are just trying to travel through this world and learn things and teach things, maybe, or learn for yourself, and maybe sometimes teach those close ones to you and understand how the world functions. Unless you are prepared, really prepared, and go to someone who has already activated the clairvoyant ability and have a set of skills, again, maybe with spiritual practices like Reiki or other practices, who knows what each one of you might desire, then maybe you can handle things easier. But until then, I would urge you to think twice, maybe thrice. It's just my take on this idea, and I wanted to present what it involves and what's the connection between the energetic idea of third eye chakra and the third eye as a clairvoyant, the third eye as a concept that offers clairvoyance. So, thank you for watching until the end. Consider giving a thumbs up, subscribing, and sharing so that other Reiki enthusiasts may find content such as this one. Thank you so much for being here. Blessings to you, and I'll see you in the next one. Before you go, there's one last thing I want to share to support your Reiki journey. If you're struggling to find consistency in your Reiki practice, but the lack of guidance and support makes your mind drift, this message is for you. Without a clear rhythm, Reiki becomes something you want to do, but never follow through. Even a simple structure can lay the foundation for a healthy rhythm, take the pressure off, and allow the universal energy to flow freely. That's why I created the 21 Reiki Challenge, a free program where we get to practice Reiki together for 21 days. Over 2,000 Reiki enthusiasts took on the challenge to rebuild their habit and reconnect with universal life force energy. If you're ready to approach Reiki with intention and structure, click the link in the description below, sign up, and let's practice Reiki together. Join the 21 Reiki Challenge to seamlessly integrate Reiki into your daily life.